Good morning, everyone. Chris Profi, musically obsessed. I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I want to do a video about the band Europe. I've got Europe playing in the background from one of the albums that I'm going to be showing you today. It probably sounds nothing like the Europe that you're used to, because if you're like me, I fell in love with Europe with this album, The Final Countdown. Of course, this is the album that had The Final Countdown on it, Rock the Night, Carrie, Ninja, Karaoke. Cherokee. There we go. And it's weird because I've had coffee today. Amazing album. Amazing album. I kind of lost interest after this album with Europe. And I knew that they were coming out with new albums, but I never really listened to them. And it's a crime because I'm getting into them now, and these later albums are amazing. So let me tell you where I'm starting from here. Their last album of what I consider like the classic years was an album called Prisoners in Paradise. That came out in 1991. Now, there was a 13-year break between that album and this album, and this is where I'm starting from today. This was an album that came out in 2004 called Start from the Dark. Joey Tempest is still singing, and his voice still sounds amazing. I never knew anything about this album or any of the albums that followed. Well, let me just tell you, Europe has gotten better. If you thought The Final Countdown was really good, listen to these later albums. They are heavy. Songwriting, amazing. This has a very modern rock sound to it. Makes sense. Came out in 2004. Crunchy, heavy guitars. Forgive me, I've got my notes down here that I'm looking at. I love the songs Gotta Have Faith, Start from the Dark, America. So heavy, those songs. And then there's a song, my favorite song on here is called Hero. And I've been listening to it the last couple days. It's the ballad of the album. And I'm listening to these lyrics. It's, you were my hero, Friday, you were my Friday night. You wrote the soundtrack of my life. I'm like, what? Who is this song about? So I looked it up. It was written by Joey Tempest for Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy. So when Phil Lynott had passed away, Joey Tempest wrote the song about him. So I never knew that. So definitely check out the song Hero. Oh my God. This ballad should have been huge. Unfortunately, I think in 2004, nobody was really interested in what Europe was doing. This is an amazing album. I never gave Europe a chance with these later albums. I kind of was like, yeah, Europe, The Final Countdown, Carrie, you know. But now listening to these, I've missed out all these years. This is an amazing album. All right, so Start from the Dark came out in 2004. Next, you had an album called Secret Society. This album came out in 2006. The thing that struck me first was the cover. It's by Storm Studios, aka Storm Thorgerson, graphic designer who did a lot of the Pink Floyd covers and lots of the covers from the 70s and early 80s. And it definitely looks like one of those Storm Thorgerson covers. Here's the back cover. This is another album that has a modern rock vibe to it, but out of these later albums, this also is the album that has sort of a grunge feel to it, which is strange because, like I said, this album came out in 2006. Grunge had already run its course by this point. So it was strange that Europe was sort of doing a grunge sound, but it definitely comes out in this album. It's not that it sounds bad, it's just sort of, it's a funny thing because You know, why would we be bringing that grunge sound back in 2006? But, you know, it still works. It's heavy, it's groovy, more crunchy guitars. This is the album that you hear some of those distorted vocals. So it definitely has that grunge vibe. What songs do I love in here? I love Secret Society. Excuse me. I love Let the Children Play. Human After All. Listen to the bass line in Human After All. Such a crunchy, heavy bass line. And then A Mother's Son is the ballad on this album. Just another great album. So you had the modern rock sound. Then you had the modern rock sound, but mixed with some grunge. That was 2006. And then in 2009, they came out with Last Look at Eden. That reminds me of the Death Magnetic cover by Metallica. When I was listening to this today, the word that comes to me is grand. It's just that grand, big album. Bluesy, heavy. It opens with a prelude with some orchestral elements, some strings, and it's a build-up to what this album is. I love the first song, Last Look at Eden. It's a big song. It reminds me of Kashmir. Gonna Get Ready, awesome hard rock. That should have been a huge single for them. New Love in Town, an amazing ballad. Memorable chorus, that should have been a hit as well. The Beast, okay, I'm gonna use a term here that we don't normally associate with Europe. Thrashy. Yes, The Beast has thrashy guitars in it. Check it out. No Stove. I'm having some issues today. No Stone Unturned. Probably my favorite song on this album. So heavy. Another big time Kashmir vibe. The rhythms in it. It's such a big, huge song. UW, another favorite of mine. Kick-ass guitar lick. What a groove on that song. And then the last song, In My Time, bluesy ballad, reminds me of like early Uriah Heep. So there's a lot going on in this album. So far, this was probably my favorite one out of the first three. So Last Look at Eden. Again, folks, if you think Europe was just the final countdown, you're missing out. I did too. I missed out on all these later albums. I'm just finding them now and going, wow, these are amazing, amazing albums. Joey Tempest sounds great on his vocals. The band is tight. They're heavy. They're groovy. They're bluesy. It's got that modern, heavy sound to it. I can't say enough. All right, so next. In 2012, they came out with an album called Bag of Bones. Out of these 6 albums I'm talking about today, this is my least favorite. Again, it's not that it's bad. It's not bad at all. It's just my least favorite out of the 6. And I was listening to it again today. It just seems not as focused as the other albums. I love that cover though. So this came out in 2012. What's cool about this album is produced by Kevin Shirley, who produced a lot of the later Maiden albums. It's groovy again, it's heavy, it's bluesy, it's got a modern vibe. This is the album where they started to kind of bring in sort of a Deep Purple vibe. If you like what Deep Purple's been doing lately with their albums, you're gonna like this. And I'm hoping the keyboard player for the band, is it Mick or Mike? Callie? I'm not sure. You can hear sort of a Hammond B3 organ sound in the first song, Riches to Rags. So he's starting to bring that sort of Deep Purple organ Hammond vibe into this. And it's going to be more pronounced in later albums. Riches to Rags is an awesome song. Firebox has a Dream Theater vibe to it. Listen to it, friends. Firebox. I also hear a little Fate's Warning in that song. Bag of Bones, acoustic blues. Joey Tempest channeling like his inner blues. It's amazing. Drink and a Smile, Listen to that. That could have been off of Zeppelin 3, the acoustic guitar on that. And then Bring It All Home is the ballad of this album. So again, out of the 6 albums, this is probably my least favorite, but it's still awesome. It's got that Kevin Shirley vibe to it. Bluesy. Yeah, just really good. Then, in 2015, they came out with War of Kings. The keyboard player, and again, I apologize if I mispronounce it, Mike Micali, or Mick Micali, I'm not sure. More pronounced in this album, more keyboard driven. More of a Deep Purple, later Deep Purple vibe. The packaging of this album is awesome. It's this hard book. Beautiful layout. Lyrics and pictures inside. Produced by Dave Cobb. This album is full of huge, big choruses. Big, big songs. War of Kings, amazing. The Second Day, I'm going to call it the modern version of Kashmir. It could have been off of Physical Graffiti. It's just an amazing song. Praise You, groovy, groovy lick. California 405. Listen to the organ in that song. Days of Rock and Roll. If you don't get a Deep Purple vibe from that, then I don't know, something's wrong with you. Rainbow Bridge, amazing. Light It Up, amazing. It is worlds apart from Final Countdown. So heavy, so good. Amazing songwriting. I just can't say enough. Again, I don't know what took me so long to get these albums. And their latest album, Walk the Earth, 2017. This is even faster. This is even heavier. This is even more Hammond B3 organ. More of that. It's more pronounced in this album. I love the song Walk the Earth. Kingdom United. I get a Thin Lizzy vibe on that song. Pictures, an amazing ballad. Election Day, heavy. And you know what? There's a song on here called Haze. Listen to that song. That is the grooviest lick I've ever heard. The song Haze. This is the back cover. This is the inside. We're currently listening to the CD right now. You know what I noticed, and I was looking through these today. I don't think record companies know how to market Europe, because let's go through these. Start from the Dark. This was on Friday Music. And then they switched labels to Sanctuary. And then they were on Ear Music for this album. Then so they stayed on Ear Music for Bag of Bones. But then they switched to Hell and Back Records. And then this latest one is on Del Imaginario. So it seems like they keep jumping record labels. I don't think people really know what to do with Europe. They're probably thinking, hey, this is a band that was huge in the 80s, but are they relevant now? I think they are. These latest 6 albums prove it. Now, I didn't give them a chance. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, Europe's coming out with a new album. Great, I'll just go listen to the Final Countdown, or, Out of This World, or Prisoners of Paradise. I didn't really give these a chance. And I think if you're into hard rock, heavy metal, Deep Purple, Thin Lizzy, Uriah Heep, bluesy, groovy, heavy, Zeppelin-esque music, check these albums out. Some of them are hard to find. I think Start from the Dark is hard to find. I want to say Secret Societies is hard to find. There's another one here. I can't remember the other one. Is War of Kings maybe hard to find? I'm not sure. But you can get them. You can get them. A couple of them are still just, like I said, a little hard to find. All right, this video is really long. It's already 15 minutes. So bottom line, if you forgot about Europe after the final countdown, give them another listen. Some of the stuff is on Spotify. You can find it on YouTube. Believe me, it's heavy. It's groovy. It's bluesy. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. Joey Tempest still sounds great. You know what? I can't say what he sounds like live nowadays because I haven't really listened to any live recordings of him. I really should check those out on YouTube. I'd love to hear him if he can still sing the final countdown. I'm not sure. But this new stuff, he can sing and his voice sounds great. It's definitely a more mature sound. So, you know what? Give Europe a chance. Check him out. And hopefully I turned you on to some later, newer hard rock by a band that you might have forgotten about. So listen, enjoy the rest of your day and listen to Europe and listen to music. Keep pressing the wrong button. There's 2 buttons on here. I keep pressing the bottom one. I want to be professional. I really do. But I have these Chevy Chase moments. I'll talk to you guys later.